Hello, I just wanted to show you this pile before we start this. So all the books I'm about to unhaul. Do we care? Can I just sit here? I don't know. I'll go sit by the fireplace and look aesthetic. Including these. It's 95 books. But I have 5 more. I'll shove in here. If anyone's gonna get pedantic at me, I don't think they are. But if you do, know that I have more, unfortunately. That implies that I read a lot of books that I didn't like to keep. And I did. I read a lot of books that I didn't want to keep. And then I just realized I didn't want to read more YA. Yeah, I'll scooch these over and we'll get right into it. But I wanted to show that this stack is as tall as I am sitting down. That's very exciting. It's just ignore, it's like a linen closet without a door. Don't question it. I've moved. I can't have the fire on. It's too hot. I didn't give myself enough room to sit down properly. So many books. I got room to put a box here so I can just go ham with this. Okay, it is time for the special disclaimer that has to go at the beginning of all of my unhauls, which is that no, I cannot send any of these to you. They already have a home. All of my YA unhauls go to a local school districts, libraries to help put books at our schools because I think that is important. So all these books already have a home that they will be going to as soon as I'm done filming this video so that I can get them out of my house and send them to people who will actually enjoy them. Yeah, please don't be mad at me for unhauling all of these books. Buying books is a hobby that I have, and a lot of these I did not buy for full price. A lot of them were like used from like secondhand stores or from book outlet. I bought them and now I'm passing them along to a school division that cannot generally buy their own books. So yeah, you ready? These are in no particular order because I didn't want to spend time ordering 100 books. Forgive me if that's gonna bother you. So first we have The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joanne He. This book was nonsense and bad, so I DNF'd it and I'm not keeping it. The June Boys by Court Stevens was a book that I was really excited about one of my first years on BookTube. And it was fine. It's a like YA mystery thriller or whatever. It was fine, but I don't think I'm ever gonna reread it. Then I have The Woods by Chelsea Babulski. I didn't read this. I couldn't find an audiobook and I didn't care enough to physically read it because I have really bad executive dysfunction and physically reading a book is hard. So I didn't do it. Then I have Family of Liars and We Were Liars, both by E. Lockhart. I really liked We Were Liars. I've read it twice, but I was like, if I'm gonna unhaul Family of Liars, because I read it and I was like, this isn't great. I don't really care about this book. If I'm gonna unhaul this one, I should unhaul the set. I don't want these to go to different places because reading the sequel before you read the first one, I feel like would be weird. So getting rid of these. The Gravekeeper by Elizabeth Brynn. I've never read and the reviews say it was boring. It looks kind of cute, but like, I don't know. It was YA with like a straight romance and had bad reviews, so. Then we have The Bone Charmer by Brianna Shields. And again, I think this was a straight romance YA book. I really like things that mention dead things, graves and bones and stuff. And so and haunted woods. So I impulse buy these things and then I go, I don't want to read these. So I've stopped doing that for the most part. This is What the Woods Keep by Katya de Becerra. Didn't read this. Impulse bought. Will never read. Primal Animals by Julia Lynn Rubin. This is a YA like mystery thriller thing. It's not good. It's not good. Didn't like it. Three Dark Crowns by Kendra Blake. I started and then went, I don't want to read a whole YA fantasy series. So goodbye. I think this can go to a school division. This is The Mystery of the Exploding Teeth and Other Curiosities from the History of Medicine by Thomas Morris. This is just like weird medical stories. And like, I don't feel like any of them are particularly graphic. I think that kids could read this and I think kids would have fun reading it. A World Without You by Beth Revis. I believe this is a book about kids who are at a special school to get psychiatric help. I read it. It was fine, but I'm never gonna reread it. Out of the Blue by Jason June is a YA queer mermaid book, which was fun, but it was like way too horny for me, a 27-year-old. Too horny in general, but also too horny with teenagers. And I'm like, I don't want to read about horny teenagers. Again, I'm 27. That's weird. Ravenfall by Kaylin Josephson. I'm just not in a middle grade mood, so while like I read this and it was fun, I had a lot of trouble focusing just because I don't want to read middle grade. So yeah. Extasia by Claire Legrand. This was a fucking doomsday cult book that was, you know, the religious cult or whatever that thinks they survived the apocalypse because they hate women, whatever. It's a misogynist cult. It was boring. I didn't like it. There was a dumb plot twist. To Break a Covenant by Allison Ames. This was just a bad book. Nothing was explained. I didn't know what was happening most of the time because it was nonsense and bad. The Bone Snatcher by Charlotte Salter. Never read it. Where the Woods End by Charlotte Salter. Never read it. Your Welcome Universe is a book about a deaf girl who is, I think, expelled from a deaf school to go to a normal public school, and there's like bad accessibility. She spray paints stuff. I don't know. The irony, and I guess it might be that this book doesn't translate well because I guess there are like blank parts where the character just doesn't hear or can't like interpret what someone is saying because they are deaf and they're lip reading and you miss words when you lip read. And maybe that wouldn't translate well, but I don't know. I found it ironic that this book that is about accessibility and stuff and disability doesn't have an audiobook, or at least not one that I could find. And I just, YA contemporaries, even if they are, okay. My cat just like parkoured off the wall. That was weird. And YA contemporaries, even if they're about important issues, just don't appeal to me. Then we have Liars Inc. by Paula Stokes. I think this is, I never read this because I read reviews and it sounded bad. Seems to be a YA mystery thriller thing. It just feels like one of those books where things would be solved if you just called the cops first instead of deciding that you're going to take matters into your own hands as a teenager. This is why I'm too old for YA. I'm like, just get adults involved. We got Behold the Bones and Beware the Wild. Didn't read these. Heard that they were just mediocre straight YA romances. Howl by Sean David Hutchinson was just a bleak, depressing, sad book. And it was sold like it was maybe going to be just like a queer werewolf book. And like it looks like the cover looks like it might be a fun book. And it's not. It's all an allegory for like sexual assault. It was so bleak the whole time, and I can't deal with it. The Walled City by Ryan Godin. I tried to read and I hated it. All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. I did read this. Do I have another book by her now? I think there was one of the book boxes did one of her books. Just realized I recognized the name. I enjoyed this well enough, but I don't think I'm ever going to reread it, and I had no interest in reading the sequel, so I feel like I don't need to keep it. The Spaces Between Us by Stasia Coleman. Wanted to read this because I think it's a friendship breakup book maybe, but I realized I'm never going to get to it, so great. Oh, I'm bumping the camera. Oh no. Come back to me. Next box. We have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I read this. I thought it was important, but I'm never going to reread it, so I don't think it is important to keep on my shelf when it could go to a school library. The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I read this. This was a blast. I'm not sure I'll ever read the sequels, and I don't think I need to own it. If I do, like, I don't know, I could always buy it again if I really feel like one day I need to own the whole series, but I haven't heard good things about the sequels, so like I'm not like itching to pick those up anytime soon. We have Chaotic Good by Whitney Gardner. I read this book. I enjoyed this book, but I don't think I'm ever gonna reread this book. And it's like cute. I love the cover. I think it's a sweet book, but I don't think that I need it anymore. Dark and Shallow Lies by Ginny Myers Sane or Sean, I don't know. This is a YA mystery thriller, and it was just okay. The River Has Teeth by Erica Waters. This is a weird mystery thriller monster book. It's queer. It's boring. Didn't really care for it. Before We Disappear, I want to say is a queer middle grade by Sean David Hutchinson, but it dealt with like some pretty horrific like abuse, and I just don't think I'm ever going to reread it. So Challenger Deep by Neil Shusterman is about a boy who has, I believe, schizophrenia, and I'm not going to reread it, but I did read it and I thought it was okay. This Might Hurt a Bit by Doogie Horner. I have read this, I think. I think this was one of the first books I read last year. I don't remember it, and I don't have any interest in rereading it. The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. I'm never gonna reread it, so I don't need it. I also don't like books in verse. I just don't like it. Girl Save the World in This One by Ash Parsons is a fun, like, teen girl power book about fandoms and stuff. It's cute, it's fun. I'm never gonna read it again. The Strange and Beautiful Life of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. I tried to read it, I couldn't fucking do it. It's so not for me. The cat has the zoomies, and my dog hates when she runs around. Oh no. We Used to Be Friends by Amy Spalding. This is a friendship breakup book. I think it's important, and I think that teens should be reading more friendship breakup books instead of just romantic breakup books. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, I think that this is good for teens, and I don't need to read it again. A Wolf for a Spell by Cara Sutton, illustrated by Paulina Hanuneme. This is like a Slavic folktale inspired book. Is it Slavic? I don't know. Russian inspired? There's a Baba Yaga in it. I might have to kick the cat out of the room. I tried to read this. It's middle grade. I haven't been in a middle grade mood in a long time. So I DNF'd it, and I'm not gonna try and pick it up again because I don't want to read things I don't want to read. A Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst I read, and it was fine, but I'm never gonna reread it. The Extraordinaries I DNF'd super fast because I fucking hated it. The main characters were like unsettlingly obsessed with like real people, and that was creepy, and I like real people in their city. It was creepy and I didn't like it. I wish I had the other books to give to the school because I've heard that other people really enjoy this series. I like TJ Klune's books. That one can go fuck itself. Don't Call the Wolf by Alexandra Ross. DNF'd it. It was generic and awful. Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Elier Sainz. Hated this book. The fact that it like ends with the parents sitting down the main character and being like, son, you're gay. I fucking couldn't do it. This book was awful. The Summer of Jordi Perez and the Best Hamburger in Los Angeles by Amy Spalding. This was fine. I'm never gonna reread it. The Art of Breaking Things by Laura Simpson. This was a book about trauma, and I think that it would be a good book to have at a school library. I read it and I thought it was pretty good, but I'm never gonna reread it. The Fever Coat by James Dashner was one of the worst books ever. It doesn't need to exist. This was a money grab. James Dashner is still trying to profit off of Maze Runner because he can't write anything else, even though these books were not good to begin with. Literally nothing in these books makes any sense. Oh my god. Okay, you're making my life worse. The Mirror Season by Anna Marie McLemore. It was fine. I don't know. I didn't love it, so I'm not keeping it. Lake Lore by Anna Marie McLemore. Same thing. It's fine. I don't need to keep it. Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera. It's another one. I read it. I thought it was pretty good. I'm not gonna read it again. Kings, Queens, and In-Betweens I've been kind of on the fence about keeping because it was really cute, like essentially found family story that I really liked, but I don't know if I'll ever read it again. And I also forgot I really liked this book until I saw it just now. I had forgotten I read it. Beautiful Broken Girls by Kim Savage. I didn't read it. I impulse bought this once. I'm never gonna read it. The Waking Forest by Alyssa Weiss. Never read this spooky forest book. Impulse bought it. Learning to Swear in America by Katie Kennedy. Impulse bought. Meant to read. Never did. The audiobook is only available on Audible, so meh. Surprise Lily by Sherelle Byers Morinville. This cover is so pretty. So it was an impulse buy, but I never read it. Fierce Like a Firestorm and Wicked Like a Wildfire. Seem like boring straight romances. I'm not gonna read them. The covers are pretty. They were impulse buys for sure. Or cover buys, I don't know. The Girls Are Never Gone by Sarah Glenn Marsh. It was a YA horror mystery thing. It was bland. YA horror never goes even remotely hard enough. Like, it should be able to be creepy instead of just like bland, you know? Like, even as a teen, if you're reading horror, it's because you want it to be creepy. And they never are. The Falling in Love Montage by Sierra Smith. I don't care about contemporary romances, even if they're queer. I was like, I'm not gonna read this. I don't want to. Map for Wrecked Girls by Jessica Taylor was an awful fucking book. I have a review for it, I think, on Goodreads, maybe. I'll link it down below if I do. It's awful, and I hated it. Do you need me to come get you? Okay, I'll come get you. I have the dog now. So any sniffling noises, it's him. You can't see him. No, he is here. When You Were Everything by Ashley Woodfolk is another friendship breakup book. Teens should be reading about things that are relatable, and friendship breakups are way more relatable than romantic bullshit. A Wicked Magic by Sasha Lawrence was nonsense bullshit, and I DNF'd it. First We Were Five is one of those books that like has the climax at the beginning, and then you like go into it like knowing something happens but not knowing how or why, and it all like starts over from the beginning. Oh, it's First We Were Four. This is by Alexander Sorowi. I liked it, but I don't think I'm ever gonna reread it, you know? The Dungeoneers by John David Anderson. Bought it because it looked Dungeons and Dragons-y, but I never read it, and I'm probably never going to. The Darkling Wood by Emma Carroll. Looks like a spooky wood book. So impulse bought it. The Deadly Sister by Elliot Schreifer is one of those books where everything could be solved if they just went to the cops because her sister is missing, and she just is like, I'm not gonna tell the police. I'm gonna do it myself. That's the dumbest shit ever. Teenagers should not be that stupid. Grave Maidens by Kelly Kuhn. Never gonna get to it. Winged Poppy Midnight I was keeping around just because I love the cover. I read it a couple years ago. It was just fine. By April Genevieve DeJolke. I'm never gonna reread it, so I'm not really sure why I'm holding on to it besides I liked the cover. Loki by Mackenzie Lee. I have the beautiful Australian edition, which is so pretty, so I don't need to. Spellbook for the Lost and Found. I read. It was just fine, so I don't need it. Six Angry Girls was a cute book. It's by Adrienne Kisner. I like all of the different people in the front, but I'm never gonna reread it. Boyle and Trouble, 15 Tales of Women in Witchcraft, edited by Jessica Spotswood and Tess Sharp. I don't like short story collections. I don't like anthologies. I don't read them. I don't ever enjoy them. I need to stop buying them. This is not YA. This is Human X by Han Kang. I didn't read this, I'm gonna be honest. Zeros, Nexus, and Swarm, all by Scott Westerfield. This is a superhero trilogy, and I liked it. I actually did. And I'm like, oh, should I keep these? I don't think I need them on my shelf, so I'm not going to. I think these would do better at a school library and not with me. If I ever want to read them again, I will listen to the audiobook the same way I did the first time I read them. Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. This was just fine. It was really forgettable. 9 by Zach Hines is a like dystopian in which everyone has like 9 lives. So like kids just like kill themselves to get to higher numbers to be cool. I don't know. It's wild. It's not good. Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn is an asexual romance book. So like I liked it for that reason. As an ace person, I just want to see more ace rap, but it wasn't for me because I still don't really like contemporary romances. We're on to the last box. It's full of cat hair, but that's fine. We have Ace We have Ace of Spades by Farida Ibiki Idamidi. I read this and I liked it, but I don't think I'm ever gonna reread it. Alien Echo by Mira Grant. Just fucking awful. Life's Short and Then You Die. This is an anthology collection about death. Emma Blackery's Feel Good 101. Generic YouTuber book. Didn't tell you anything all of the others haven't already said. I guess we'll do the paperbacks. An Arrow to the Moon by Emily XR Pan. It's got sprayed edges. This was in Fairy Loot, maybe? I don't know. The Coldest Touch by Isabel Sterling. You know, it's a vampire book. I've read it. I have the hardback. My Dearest Darkest by Kayla Cottingham. This was fucking bad. The Grimrose Girls by Laura Pohl was kind of transphobic. Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I just didn't care enough to keep going. The Nest by Kenneth Opel was like creepy and weird, but I don't think I'm ever gonna read it again. The Extraordinary Book of Deaths by Cecilia Roos was fun and cute. The Cimarelli Sisters, Believe in Yourself, Big Sister Stories and Advice for Living Your Best Life is a signed copy. I like the Cimarelli Sisters, but they are very Catholic, and this book is very Catholic. It is signed. I'm like, I can keep it. I like them, but I kind of feel like it might be nice. I am not religious even remotely, but like, you know, there are a lot of books tailored towards teens, but there are a lot of books tailored towards the teenagers who are religious. You know, so I'm kind of like, this could go in a secular school and be like the one option that religious kids have. I don't know. I kind of want to keep it inside. Gift for Ghost is a graphic novel that is completely incomprehensible. It wasn't good. There was a cute skeleton in it though. Special Collector's Edition of The Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This is a big chunk compared to the normal book. I just don't know that I'm ever gonna reread this book. I kept it for a long time. I bought a different edition, but I'm like, I've never been inclined to pick it up again. So I feel like that kind of says it all. The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Booley. This is a Indigenous story and I really liked it, but I don't think I'm gonna read it again. Oh my goodness, are we at the end? Faithless Hawk and Merciless Crow by Margaret Owens. I read the first one and I thought it was bad, which is weird because I really liked whatever the current Painted Devil and whatever the other one was. I liked it. I think that's that on that for now. That was only 30 minutes. This isn't going to be hugely long. It's not like I was like fully reviewing everything. And most of it was me dealing with this one. So yeah, these are all of the 100 books, or maybe 95, that I am unhauling this year. There was only one adult book and that's because it got mixed up in it. I have a whole bag of adult books that I am saving for next year's unhaul because I'm hoping that this year, I guess, I'm not gonna go through 100 books that I don't like or don't want to keep. I've really been curating my stuff. What I get rid of next 2024, whatever, that unhaul is going to be mostly adult books because I'm not buying YA and I'm very clearly getting rid of a lot of my YA. What do I smell like? My goodness. So yeah, this is my last big YA unhaul. Probably. There's going to be more YA books in future unhauls, but like I don't think there's going to be 100. Maybe there is. I hope so because these are the books I can donate to school libraries. The other ones I'm not really sure what to do because I have so much credit at my local used bookstore. So I need to figure out, maybe I can sell adult books. That makes it sound like they're like porn. They're not, I promise. Yeah. I'll see you whenever I do my next video. I have no idea when this will come out. I have no idea what my next video will be, but I'll see you whenever I do that. Sorry that I am not prioritizing filming so much at the moment because it's just not something that I feel really passionate about right now. I'm not really driven to film or edit, so I'm not doing it right now. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it and I will see you whenever I do my next video. Stop licking your feet. Stop licking your feet.